This is Knox Street Studios TechBridge, where we increase our technical know-how and productivity. Today, what we're going to focus on is Python. Is a programming language that is used in so many of the apps as well as the websites that we visit every day. The reason why TechBridge exists is because I'm very clear that there is a difference, divide, as it were, with many of the folks. And what I am interested in doing is trying to close that gap, providing a bridge, as it were. And so learning a computer language, especially one like Python, which is, as compared to many other languages, a very clean looking language, i.e. you can really, once you start to read it and spend some time wrestling with it, you can start to really understand the words, the syntax, and the functions that you see in front of you. So with that being said, we're going to set this up like we do all the others. We're going to do a quick install. We're going to install the Python. We'll do it on the Mac. I'll mention how it works on the Windows. We'll also install Atom and explain what that is. And then we'll look at, and then the final action item, we'll look at where Python's used in today. All right, let's get into it. More importantly is, what are you bringing to the table? So it's not just a programming language, it's what you understand and how you engage with it, right? Because inevitably what you're going to find is you're going to run into stick points in the debugging stage, even in the installation stage. And so part of what I am going to do is give you, what I hope to do is give you a starter kit on how do you get through those stick points, right? So we'll just work on it together. And so one of the first things is I don't need you to believe what I say. Let's just look at what's out there. And so I'm going to go to the website, Python download. When I type that out, the first link you see is python.org downloads. I'm going to click on that link. I'm going to scroll down. So the most recent version is download Python 3.38, okay? So now, before I do that, I'm going to go to the terminal. And what I'm going to do is, at the terminal, I am going to type Python -- version. And it's going to tell me, oh, I have version 2.715. My goodness, that's pretty old. And what's the version out currently? 3.38? 3.8.3. Okay, so why is my version so old? Oh, I forgot. Type in Python 3 - version, and you see that I'm currently running 3.7.1. All right, not too terribly old. So now, one of the things you can do is when you go to here, it can start to explain what's been added versus what's been added to the version since the last version, and you can decide whether you want to make that change. I will say that there was a huge fork from the 2 to the 3. There's quite a bit of things you can do in 3 that you can't do in 2. So we won't get into that. We'll just talk about installing. So if you are on a PC, you can click on, scroll down, you can click on download, and you can actually do this on a Mac as well. You can click on download. And you see here, it gives you some, I have no idea why my stuff was so big. It gives you notes, more resources, online documentation. Starting to learn how to read the online documentation is so important. That's one of the places where you can go when you get into what I'm calling those stick points, right? And so now you get these, for Windows, you get these installers right here. And you see here the Mac OS installers right there. So you would click on this one. You see that it downloaded as a package. It's going to my desktop, which is fine. All right, it's now there. You can click on it. You should be able to open it. And it should take you through the install process. All right, so that's one method of doing it. Another method of doing it is doing it from the terminal. Oh, so the terminal. So to get to the terminal, if you're on Windows, you go to the command prompt C, and that's the terminal. For Mac, this is what the terminal looks like. It's just a little. I have it hot linked to, well, I have it docked in my docking station so I can get to it quickly. But if you click on your little rocket, you should see the terminal there. Let's see if I see it. It's there, I just don't know where. I'll have to remember where it is. I've had it in my dock so long. It's well, I stuck it in under other, right? But if you do a search, you can click on terminal, or you do a search and type terminal, it'll pop up. Now, because I use it so often, I pulled it down to be a quick access down here. All right, so do Python 3, I think, what is it? I gotta type right too. Python 3 dash upgrade, I think this, or is it dash upgrade? Python 3 dash upgrade. Unknown upgrade. All right, so that's not it. Let's figure out what it is. So upgrade Python with, oh, it's homebrew. All right. Okay, brew install Python 3. All right, so type in brew install Python 3. See what, to get my little wheel and stuff. Yes. All right. So what's happening is right now, the homebrew is updating, and so if you've been watching my videos, when we did the Google Alerts was a model that we may use. It's one where you pull down stuff, you request it. Some things you can push, some things you can pull down. And so the other way, I guess in both, you're actually pulling it down. But this is, the homebrew is the way to pull it down from the terminal. There's no GUI system or graphical user interface, okay? And so it takes a little while, but it took a little while the other way as well. And so what you're seeing is that the thing about the homebrew, it also pulls down most of the dependencies that you need. And so behind me, you see books, right? And so if you think about it, in order for you to learn how to read a more complex book, you had to read past books. Well, those are oftentimes you do that over a long period of time. Well, in this case, these are all the dependencies that you need in order to finish running. All right, so when that gets done, and it's going to take a little while, you should get a notification that it's finished. We'll leave that where it is, and we'll move on to Atom. And so what is Atom? All right, so there are videos for Atom. I'm sorry, I went to Google again. I typed in Atom, and so it says here, Atom is a text editor at the core of the developer's toolbox. It doesn't work alone. It works with Git, GitHub directly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's cross-platform, and so you basically, many developers use Atom as a way in which to type and to create their for some of their documentation, as well as the apps or the websites that they use. And so that gets you to talking a little bit about front end and back end, but Atom is not the only one. I can also mention Notepad, which people use quite often, PyCharm, et cetera, et cetera. And so with all of those, there are also extensions and libraries similar to what we talked about when we did extensions that can make the functionality of Atom get better. So what you see here is you got the download. You click on here, and it'll download it. And what I did is I did the same thing. After I downloaded it, I installed it, and I set up a tag, or I'm sorry, I pinned it to my docking station. All right, so here are some of the Python programs that I have written in the past. So let's look at one. And as you can see, this is a really short program, but what it does is this is the place where you write it. This is one of the places where you can write it. And then in order to execute it, what you do is you go back to the terminal, and that sucker's still installing. So what I'll do is I'll open up another terminal. In order to run, you type in the version of Python you want to use. So if I just typed in Python, I would use the 2.75, I believe. When I type in Python 3, I'll use my version that I currently have, 3.71, and the name of the program. Now you also have to note, you have to be in the same folder with that particular program. So if I'm not mistaken, so let's see, where is this? Right here. So I'm going to put the mouse over it. This says that I am in documents. That's where this thing is. And so I look here, I see I'm in documents. All right, this is where this program is. So Python 3, the name of the program, yes. And then hit enter, and then you see the program run. So this says, what is your first name? I am going to say Richard. What is your last name? I'm going to say Brown. And the program, all it did was it took in those two inputs, my first name and my last name, and it said, hello, Richard Brown. That's it. We have gone through the install. Actually, it's still installing, but that's fine. We have gone through setting up Atom really, really quickly. We then went through where to find the program. We will, of course, talk through what all that meant, or how to write out that little program that I just showed you. And the last thing I want to do today is the action item. Is I want to show you what some of the so go to Google again, type in websites that use Python, right? All right, so this blog says it's a 2-year-old blog. It says that and it gives you some reasons why they used Python, but YouTube, Google, Dropbox, Yahoo, Reddit, Instagram, Spotify, SurveyMonkey, Bitly. So all of these have used Python as one of the languages, not the only language, but one of the languages that is used to create the website. So that's a pretty good, oh yeah, this is definitely something that not only I can use, but once I really get up that learning curve, can really get me in the systems. That's it. That's all I wanted to cover today. If you have any problems, email me and I can start that process. But the thing I want you to remember is using a search is important. I didn't talk about this, but I should have. Making sure that you are using the right words, keywords, in order to pull the information that you need. That does take some time and some effort. We set up the Python. We set up the Atom, which is a text editor that I use, but there are others. And then we saw what a little small program looks like. The other thing I'll need to do is next time we'll spend a little time at the terminal. We'll actually run Python in the terminal and do some basic stuff there. I want to thank you so much. I am excited about this new turn in what TechBridge is doing, and I can't wait to share this journey with you. I'll see you next time.